Believe I'm winning. For all the mess I was am and will be continuing. The fun is only beginning. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la.
Hello and welcome to Don't Bury the Lead. We recap WWE SmackDown every Saturday, but today is different because we are recapping on Monday during WWE RAW. My name's John Zindel. I'm joined by Dom Scarcella. Dom, go ahead and tell the people a little bit about yourself.
It's a holiday week, and yeah, maybe we'll pull in some people browsing around the interwebbies tonight looking for WWE Raw stuff, and instead they'll get some extra news on WWE SmackDown and beyond, as we always like to do. So without further ado, John, don't bury the lead. What's our top story from SmackDown for December 20th, 2024?
Dom, we don't ever bury the lead. And the lead here is the main event where Naomi and Bianca Belair defend the tag team titles, and they win against Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. Naomi now filling in for Jade Cargill, which is an interesting wrinkle here we have to Naomi and Bianca Belair. I guess Jade's going to be out for an extended period of time. So instead of having them drop the titles, they're going to have a kind of a free bird situation where Naomi plugs in. But Dom, what'd you think of this main event tag team title match?
It was good to see Naomi wrestle up to close enough to where Bianca Belair is, where it made sense as a tag team. I mean, Jade Cargill always looked the part, but didn't wrestle up to Bianca's level. Mm-hmm. Naomi doesn't look the part the way Jade did, but when she's in the ring, she wrestles pretty darn well. I mean, this match goes, about 12-ish minutes, maybe in the 12 and a half minute range here. That's a pretty long tag match. Mm-hmm. And, Bianca and Naomi shared ring time pretty evenly. I thought they were each in there a long time. Nia and Candice LeRae, this is still more drama with, people vying for Nia Jax's affection between Candice LeRae and Tiffany Stratton. And Tiffany Stratton being a little indecisive about it may wind up costing them the tag belts in this match. Candice LeRae, Candice was in the ring, and they did this weird thing where Nia was supposed to have hit Candice LeRae, but it looked like she completely missed, and then they had to just pretend. And eventually, Tiffany Stratton walks down with the briefcase after Nia's been busted open. And the crowd is crazy chanting cash it in. So they're really setting this up well that one of these days Tiffany's going to turn. Now, eventually, Nia's asking Tiffany for the briefcase to use it as a weapon. Tiffany hesitates. Like she doesn't know if she wants to do it. And that hesitation cost them because by the time Nia gets it, the ref turns around, sees Nia Jax with the briefcase. What are you doing? Get that out of here. They wind up losing the match after Candice got a 2 count on Naomi, but Naomi got to her feet first, kick to the face, split leg moonsault, pinfall. And basically Candice LeRae was hung out to dry there as Nia and Tiffany were arguing. Mm-hmm. So lots of intrigue as to what happens with the heels here. And is one of them going to turn? The crowd seems to want it. So, I mean, lots of angles going on here. Naomi finally getting her chance at the bigger spotlight and performing well. Bianca Belair keeping the belt and remaining a top-notch worker who you can always count on. Nia Jax looking formidable with the title. The intrigue over who wants. I mean, I don't know where you want to go next. Or do you just want to talk some match spots here and there in sequences?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Once I saw, Nick, how are you? Thanks for joining.
Yeah, wondering what we're doing here on a Monday. Good to see you, Nick.
Yeah. So, from my perspective, I agree with you with Naomi. Good to see that she's functional. Jade obviously has that 10 out of 10 look that Naomi maybe doesn't have, but Naomi's definitely a better hand, I'd say, at this point, based off the fact that she's come in and improved when she got released and she was in TNA. I think she's actually, she quit the company. She quit WWE and was a tag champ when she quit. So
Was that with the former Sasha Banks?
yeah,
Okay.
the artist formerly known as Sasha Banks.
Yes.
But so she quit WWE, went to TNA, improved her skill set, and as with anyone that quits WWE, they're anxious to bring them back and probably pay them more money. So she comes back, she wins, or she is now in the tag team title picture. She has a tag team title, but she's been, I'd say this, she's a better hand than Jade, although Jade does look better. But
does this set up Jade Cargill for a return as a heel?
You know, it is one of these things where they got to kind of do something with Jade. I don't think she can just keep doing the 2 or 3 moves of doom. And one of the things I've been like, I just want to see what she can do. Right. And they haven't really like had her have a match and let her cut loose. But then in addition to that, maybe there's a reason. Maybe there's something they're seeing where she's shaky. Like sometimes she looks really shaky in matches with, like I think it was Io, specifically some tag matches with the Kabuki Warriors. I can remember like she looked really lost. But ultimately, maybe this gives an opportunity to get her head right, get healed up, and come back and then have some sort of a change in an angle.
Anything you want to go through from the match or some of the drama with Tiffany Stratton? This is not Minnesota. It's not her home state. And she's getting huge cash it in chance.
Yeah. Sorry, I got some comments here.
You can't return as a heel after you've been attacked like Jade was. What if you're on a revenge tour when you come back? And maybe you know who did it.
Yeah, there is like a who did it thing where they could mix, Naomi or Bianca Belair and add some flavor there with like who was the one that did it. She comes back and takes her title. There's a couple ways they can go that could be pretty cool, actually.
She could be tweenerish. I think right now Jade right now is a baby face because she's getting the Bianca Belair rub.
Yes.
Like, I don't think a lot of people are cheering for Jade Cargill anymore.
No.
She's just too vanilla. She's got the look, but she's vanilla when she comes out. She doesn't cut great promos. She's just vanilla. She's getting cheered because she's attached to Bianca Belair, and Bianca Belair, rightfully so, is appreciated by anybody who watches the program. And she's currently booked as a babyface.
Yeah. But kind of back on track to the match here. Sorry, I kind of went off a little bit of a tangent about Jade. Nia was really good selling to the crowd. She just does that, like, I felt like they were a little dead, so she started selling a little bit to the crowd and giving them crap, and she does that better than most. I feel like, at least as far as like really basic pro wrestling stuff, where like yell at the crowd and everyone knows to hate her. There's no tweener thing with her.
That's interesting. You brought that up. She and Naomi are real life friends, right?
Yeah.
From what I've seen. They each came back to WWE roughly around the same time, and they're each much better than they were in their previous go-round. So good for them. Like, Nia gets it. Naomi is getting it. Nia gets it. Their previous go-round, if they were both in like the main event of a SmackDown, you would not be expecting this kind of quality, would you?
No.
This was main event worthy for each of them being in there. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Another spot I kind of liked here is Naomi. Naomi looking with the power bomb on Nia Jax. That was crazy. There's something about Nia Jax hitting power bomb because she's just so big.
Yes.
And when she gets power bombed off the top ropes, it looks crazy. And then the 450 splash by Bianca. She's a freak. Bianca
Yes,
Belair.
those two came together, right? Nia avoided the split leg moonsault, and then Naomi recovered with that power bomb off the second turnbuckle as Nia was trying to set up the Annihilator, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah.
that quick tag to Bianca for the 450 splash, and Candice LeRae, perfect timing, barely breaking it up. And that was the one where it looked like Nia Jax had been busted open.
Yeah.
And that was a really cool sequence with all 4 wrestlers involved.
I wonder if I don't wonder how she got busted open, if like Bianca nicked her on the 450 or something like that. I don't know. I don't think it was a blade job. It was the hard way.
What was it, like the head into the ring post? Like,
oh
as
yeah,
she's climbing up to there. Maybe she just caught the edge of the ring post or something.
she was taking a good amount of damage. So I don't know at what point she was really getting beat up there for a minute.
Yeah. I wonder if as a larger wrestler, like the other wrestlers have to hit you harder just so it looks legitimate.
Yeah. They
It
have
used
to
to happen
kind of lay it in.
let's go NBA for a second. Shaquille O'Neal used to complain about that he used to get fouled so hard, but because he was so big, he wouldn't react the way a smaller player would. Like he'd be getting clubbed with forearms, but because he wouldn't like fall down, the refs would be like, "Oh, he didn't get hit."
Yeah, and that was Shaq too. Was so terrible at the line that they were like, that was Hack-a-Shaq was a strategy.
Yep.
It's just to try to hack him because he was so dominant when he got the ball in his hands. He'd score every time. But
yeah, maybe Nia's like, yeah, look, hit me, make it look real.
Yeah, and you really got to lay it in with her because she's so much bigger than everyone else. I even noticed how big she was with Candice LeRae. She looks like two of Candice LeRae's.
Right, that's Manute Bol and Muggsy Bogues.
Yes.
To do another NBA thing there, like the way tall and the way short.
Yeah.
But yet each in their own way, they work pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Like Candice is no joke. She's very tiny, got the tiny frame, but she sells. She's fairly quick in there. Her timing is good.
She's had a pretty good run. I've been pleasantly surprised because they brought her kind of off the NXT bench, if you will. I haven't never really seen her, so
okay.
I think she's been pretty solid.
I gotta look this up quick. Is she married to Johnny Gargano?
They are either together or married.
Okay.
They were together for years. I don't know if they're like official or
they're
not.
like on the same show now, and I do look when the WWE is doing that with couples.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that makes sense. So they could like travel together and whatever.
Well, yeah, Jimmy Uso and Naomi.
It's a good point.
They brought Andrade over and put him on SmackDown where they thought Charlotte Flair would be.
Yeah. And then only one more spot I wanted to call out was when Bianca did like a really awesome flip from the second rope that kind of made sense to do the flip because like she was like someone was barreling after her. I think it might have been Nia, and she just did the back flip off of the second rope, but the flip made sense as to like why she did it too. It wasn't just a flip to do a flip.
Yes.
You know,
it was good gymnastics.
Good. Yes. You got to be careful. You want to err on the side of less gymnastics, right? In pro wrestling. And I have another chat here where I wanted to bring it up.
There we go. Stone Cold comes to mind immediately. Oh, is that about people returning from injuries?
Return and then returning as a heel.
Returning as a heel. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So if it's been done before, or like everything's been done in pro wrestling before at this point, it'll have to be like I get your point, Nick, that it's always easier to come back, especially if you were a babyface, to make the triumphant return, especially since the first time your music hits, the crowd is probably going to pop.
Yeah, no matter what, they're going to be excited to see you.
Yeah, so I mean, it's easier to make the returning star a babyface, at least initially. But I wonder if, I mean, Jade just doing a heel run might be better.
Mm-hmm.
Just like beat people up.
Yeah, Jade was heel in AEW, and I think she likes being heel.
Okay,
and
I did not know that. Very good.
And I think that it might be a good fit for her, honestly. And you know, who knows? It'd just be good to see her wrestle a wrestling match.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, and I'll keep saying this. I think the Jade Cargill thing, you send her to NXT because looking at all the women that come up from NXT, some of them are so ready to go and so good. If there are concerns where you can't let her go loose, then you say, okay, go to NXT, learn some things, come back up, and you'll be ready to go. Or you're confident in her and you let her rip. Not like this role where she's kind of in now where they don't let her wrestle.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind her going to NXT, especially since there's crossing over between the brands anyway.
Yeah,
I mean,
totally.
her having a good run in NXT as the champion, as a dominant champion, and then showing up finally on the main roster again, kind of like Braun Breaker, who now is a really well placed intercontinental champion. I think I think there's possibilities with her. So, but it's good to see that in the meantime, they didn't do like, oh, strip the belts from Bianca and Jade. Let's have another tag team tournament. As if we don't have enough of those.
Right.
And again, it was probably tough for them because they may not have had enough women tag teams to do a tournament.
Oh, no, totally not.
Like, they've been milking this for a while, Bianca and whoever versus some combination of Nia and whoever wants Nia's affection.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they don't really have a really established tag team division in either men or women's, right? So
men's, yes, just because there's more numbers, but women's, and the women's, they've kind of ruined it after War Games when they put Damage Control on Bianca and Jade's team initially, which became Bianca and Naomi. Or Bailey was in there at some point. So it's they have not pre-made enough rivalries in the women's tag division where I think they could have had an actual tournament.
It's tough, right?
You would have been going like, who?
You would just have two random women paired together rather than the devoted like tag team or, actual allies.
It would have been a lot of the people from Raw who were barely getting TV time, especially now that Raw got cut down to a 2-hour show. It would have been like Chance and Carter again. It would have been the people they brought up from NXT and then sent back down. Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend. A lot of people who got a cup of coffee and then went back down.
Yeah, Lash Legend and Jakara. Yeah, the other girl, Lash Legend.
Jakara Jackson. The other alliteration, JJ and LL. Yes.
Yeah. All right, Dom. So anything else here from the lead?
No, it's a fun match with a lot of other fun stuff attached to it. I think we covered it.
All right.
What say you for the follow? Where do you want to go?
Well, let's see here. We got the follow. This might have been the match of the night for the follow is the opener. We have LA Knight, Andrade, and Apollo Crews versus the Bloodline, who's Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, and Tama Tonga.
Yep.
And I should say Bloodline 2.0, not the original Bloodline. And Solo Sikoa, the original Bloodline, goes over. Apollo Crews takes the loss. And I wrote in my notes, the second I saw Apollo Crews in the tag match, I said, oh, he's the one that's going to get pinned, huh?
Oh, poor guy.
But
he wrestled well. He performed well.
He does perform well. He is the jobber. He's the guy that's going to take the pin.
Yeah, this match goes 10 minutes plus a commercial. Plus, they started during a commercial. So this may have been a 15-minute match. We couldn't tell exactly when it started. Lots of action. Any things of your favorite in there? You already mentioned that Solo Sikoa winds up pinning Apollo Crews. Did the charge in the corner on a dazed Crews, then the Uranagi slam, then a spike for the pinfall. So really bringing out all the stops there for Apollo Crews.
Yeah, I know. I noticed he hit like an extra move there at the end that was like, it looked like he was just going to be pinned. And then there was that extra transition.
Takes a lot to keep Apollo Crews down.
I love Jacob Fatu because I haven't seen a ton of them in this match in general.
Okay.
But he looks very good. He's very explosive. And all the facial expressions, the reaction of the crowd when he gets in. He feels like one day he'll be a face. But he right now is a heel, but he just like he's exciting when he's in there.
He's exciting and he has charisma, and he can do a moveset that's mostly associated with baby faces, like the high flying stuff.
It's all power stuff for him too, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought Jacob Fatu, he did like, I don't know what the move is specifically, but he did like a pop up something or other, some sort of pop up slam that looked really good.
He does that quick pop up Samoan drop on people, right?
Yeah,
especially when they're coming off the ropes.
Mm-hmm.
He gets them like one motion up into the fireman's carry and drops them.
Mm-hmm.
How about LA Knight in this one? There have been rumors that maybe LA Knight is nursing an injury. He got surprisingly little ring time in this match.
Oh, that
like it was Cruz and Andrade tagging in and out constantly. LA Knight got very little. It looked like he didn't do much bumping. He took a shot from Shinsuke Nakamura on the floor, who appeared and ambushed him. But LA Knight, I wrote down at the end, LA Knight gets the least amount of ring time, and it was noticeable. Is he injured and they're protecting him somewhat? Question mark. Or was it just their plan to have Andrade and Apollo Crews not only take most of the beating, but also get a lot of the offense? Like they each had their times where they looked good.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know if they are planning on having Shinsuke Nakamura and LA Knight face off on that first Raw next week.
Okay. Everything's Raw now.
Yeah. Like you know how they're loading that show up.
At this point, that show's going to be 5 hours. Everybody's going to Raw for every big angle imaginable.
Yeah. We're really gonna get the short end of the stick on SmackDown on Friday. Nobody's gonna want to talk about that. But yeah, so for me, it was, as far as LA Knight's concerned, that's a really interesting point. It could potentially be that he's hurt, and it makes sense because he dropped the title, and Nakamura is a really strange person to drop the title to. Just coming back, premiering, re-updating the gimmick, and I thought he was going to go on to bigger things, so maybe he's just hurt, so he can't defend the title. Also, the injury would make sense because he has been actively wrestling a lot, right?
He has been actively wrestling. The other thing is maybe this is just a different thing to do with him, because I before seeing the match and then having the question as to whether or not LA Knight was hurt, I thought this was a great opportunity to give the LA Knight rub to Andrade and Apollo Crews.
Mm-hmm.
This is a wonderful thing to do once you build up a guy and the fans are behind him. You've put a belt on him. He's had a good feud. Now he's faced some adversity, dropped the belt. I thought this would be great where suddenly he's in some sort of loose alliance with Andrade, maybe with Apollo Crews as well. And now it puts those guys in the spotlight. I think that's a great use for him because you're always looking in pro wrestling, especially when you have a loaded roster, you're looking for guys who can do things without a belt because you only have so many belts. And if everybody has a belt, then the belt means nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So LA Knight at this point is a guy who's hot and can do something without a belt. And so he doesn't have to chase a belt all the time. I think it'd be fun if you just maybe elevated Andrade and maybe even Apollo Crews.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't mind seeing that. I don't think that's burying LA Knight at all. I don't think that takes his luster away or anything at all.
No, I agree.
What about some of the other guys here? I really liked Andrade. You mentioned Jacob Fatu being a monster. He took some shots in this match. He was not invincible.
Mm-hmm.
Andrade hit a meteor on him in the corner for a 2 count. And then did the moonsault where Jacob rolled to the far corner. Andrade landed on his feet and then right into a standing moonsault on Jacob Fatu. So a couple of quick 2 counts on Jacob Fatu from Andrade there, which was impressive, I thought. Apollo Crews got some good things as well. He hit a top turn splash for a 2 count.
Yeah.
Transitioned right into a crossface that was on Tama Tonga. And then, of course, he had Solo Sikoa had to hit him with everything in order to pin him. So I thought these lesser-known guys on the babyface team got great ring action and looked strong.
Yeah. Did you see Andrade take the goofy, really goofy bump where it looked like his head bounced off the side of the ring? Fatu picked him up and he hit his like mid body along the ropes and he flipped over, but it looked like he just whacked his head coming down onto the ring apron and then just hit and then back bumped right into the like mat right in front of the announce table. I don't know if
Okay,
you
was that when he pulled him off the apron and prevented him from getting a tag, or was that when they were just kind of brawling out there?
no, he was it's just a specific spot where he went topsy-turvy over the top rope and just sort of smacked his head on the ring apron and then rolled off. And the announcers made a big deal about it, like, oh, he hit his head. I didn't know if it was really, really great sell by
Yeah,
him,
right.
and I was getting tricked, or if it was a botch. But
I did not write that one down specifically as a note, but it happens in wrestling. I mean, we've seen guys try to do a really cool move and it just turns out a little wrong,
yeah,
especially when the ropes are involved.
he did a good job kind of recovering. He landed flat on his back. He got as much of his body like as far as the surface area is concerned. He
Mhm.
got a lot of surface area of his body when he took the bump to the ground, which is fine. But I don't know if he like hit his head or the point was to make it look like he whacked his head. I don't know. But
He's a
either
good enough of a worker where, he's even on autopilot, he's going to do something right, like know how
yeah.
to take a bump.
If he's a little lost up there, he knows how to get himself to a safe place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's definitely pretty skilled within the ring. So, anything else from this match?
No, I like it. It was set up. If you want to do what happened before the matches, Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, and Jacob Fatu are in the ring. Decent promo. Solo's fighting off the what chance. Drew McIntyre walks out, and there's this enemy of my enemy is my friend thing going on, where
Mhm.
Drew's saying like he hates Solo Sikoa and wants to beat the heck out of him, but at the same time, Drew's making his way through the original bloodline, and Solo's going after Roman Reigns and kind of admires Solo for being the only one to stand up to Roman Reigns
Mhm.
and not just go back with him and like, oh, yeah, all is forgiven, even though you haven't changed at all and you're still a jerk. Drew finally says, once they each take care of what they're doing, then they can finish the business between the two of them. I like this. I like Drew. If everybody's going to wind up on Raw except Drew McIntyre, who's coming over to SmackDown, then maybe that's not the worst trade.
Yeah, seriously.
Drew's awesome. I like this role for Drew as a guy with no friends but lots of enemies, and he's just going to, take everybody, on a case by case basis.
Yeah, and he's got his hit list now, right? Is that what he
Yeah,
calls
like
it?
why didn't he attack Solo Sikoa? Because Solo's maybe taking out Roman Reigns for him. So I'll let you do that, and then you and I have some unfinished business. So I like this case by case vindictive Drew McIntyre.
It'd be great if we get McIntyre on SmackDown, because I think we're missing a lot of gold with him because
Yes.
what he's been doing on Raw, and as a heel, he's been good, really good.
Last time he was on SmackDown regularly, it was when we first started watching. It was the tail end of that program with Karrion Kross.
Yeah.
And he's been just doing a lot of really good stuff on Raw since then. So yeah, I'd like to see him back. The transfer window is open. I'd like to see him back if they're thinking of going that way. So where to next? We could talk about another person in the transfer window here. How fantastic was it, and I say that perhaps sarcastically, that they made the 9 o'clock hour the Grayson Waller effect?
I saw
Braun Strowman.
I saw the they had a ticker, which is kind of cool to show you what was coming up, and it said Grayson Waller effect, and I was like, no. I was just starting to like him.
The best part of the Grayson Waller effect is Austin Theory wordlessly making exaggerated gestures to everything Waller says.
Just trying.
That's the only good part of it. The rest of it was kind of slow. It sounded kind of forced. Braun Strowman's trying to be like the tough guy who doesn't want to be out there, but he's out there anyway. So like, why did you agree to be out there? Grayson Waller's trying to kiss up to him. None of that needed fake trees.
No, none of
They
it
could have
needed.
just done this, and then it winds up spinning into Carmelo Hayes comes out. He's mad because last week Braun Strowman was a surprise opponent for him and beat him. And Carmelo Hayes says, "How about we run it back?" And then they let them have a run it back match. It goes about 3.5 minutes. Melo wins by a count out. When as they're brawling on the outside, Braun Strowman throws him back into the ring, but then is too slow getting back into the ring himself. So he wins the match for Carmelo Hayes.
I thought it was really weird because I could hear the ref really exaggerating the count.
Yes.
And she or they never do that. They're never like 6.
Yep.
7. Like she's screaming. And I'm like, oh, is this okay? Then it's a count out. I was like, oh wow, they actually did the count out.
Or they have to get back in the ring quickly, and the ref is trying to make sure they know they have the timing down.
Yeah, right. It's either like, hurry up, let's get back in. I'm counting you out. Come in the ring. That's usually the sign, right? But I haven't seen a count out. I don't think I've seen one since we started watching SmackDown. Just an actual 10 count out.
Yeah, we've seen matches thrown out because both guys were outside too long.
Yeah, or
like this was a fun one. Like Braun Strowman gave the win to Carmelo Hayes by throwing him into the ring instead of getting in the ring himself.
Yeah, I actually would like to see Braun Strowman versus Carmelo Hayes. That might be kind of a good matchup. Like when we talk about two different guys with different styles, different body types. And I also want to say one thing about this match.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing like cheap heat. I like the cheap heat. There's not better cheap heat than giving away crap to the crowd.
Oh, cheap pops. Yeah, for the babyface side.
Oh yeah, the cheap pops rather. Mm-hmm. With the babyface giving out the T-shirts or whatever junk was in his thing.
His sack of presents, yes.
Sack of presents and dressed as Santa Claus. Yeah. He definitely was earning his paycheck too. They're like, listen, you were the champ. At one point, there was their top guy, but you're going to dress up like Santa tonight, and you're probably going to get jobbed out to Carmelo Hayes.
You're going to dress up like Santa. You're going to give up presents. You've got to carry Grayson Waller for 5 awkward minutes while Austin Theory makes weird gestures at you.
I forgot. He also had to do the Grayson Waller effect, which is like...
And then you have to beat the crap out of Carmelo Hayes and with perfect timing, throw him into the ring for the win.
You know, and I see this a lot. If you ever been to like an open mic and someone does a stand-up comedy set,
okay,
they're saying the jokes, and it's like a music open mic, and everything's going flat, and they're saying the jokes, and it's like it's either working or it's not. That's the Grayson Waller effect. Is the open mic stand-up comedian where no one's really paying attention, but they're trying to get through their set and they're trying to get it over, and it's just like no one's laughing at the jokes. And it's like, if no one's laughing at the jokes, the set's really, it sticks out like a sore thumb. Whereas
I've seen that before, yes.
that is consistently the Grayson Waller effect, because it just doesn't get over with the crowd. The loudest you'll hear is people just kind of start to talk in the middle of it. That's like the biggest pops you hear. So it's just a guy out there tanking, and I don't know why they went back to it, because Triple H kind of got rid of it. And once he got rid of it, it was like, wow, this guy's pretty good in the ring and actually seems like he can go, and it's a good addition to the roster.
Yes, and then I guess this was just to give them some screen time when they weren't booked for a match.
Yeah. I was wondering, who was booking this, who made this SmackDown, because it felt a lot like a Vince show.
Oh, okay. That may be something for the thumb drive, but we've got a little more show to recap here.
Yes, I am. I don't mean to give away too much, but this felt like an old SmackDown with Vince. Moving on.
One more match or some backstage stuff that you want to get to?
We could talk about the backstage stuff. Yeah.
Okay, we had recaps from Saturday night's main event. Cody Rhodes, after the show went off the air, Kevin Owens went back into the ring, blindsided him, attacked him, did that package pile drive, which is the double underhook pile drive. And so Cody Rhodes gets wheeled out of there on a stretcher, taken to the hospital in an ambulance. Kevin Owens stole the replica belt they made for Saturday night's main event and still has it. Later in the show, they had Kevin Owens cut a promo with the nostalgia replica belt still. It's like, this is mine. He was not in his rental car, but he was still cutting a promo. And then they had another Saturday night's main event interview that I don't think I remember seeing during the show, but it was Byron something or other.
Saxton.
Byron Saxton interviewing Chelsea Green with Piper Niven there to cheer her on. That was fun. Chelsea Green still in the heel mode, the annoying person mode, but showing that if you want to have your champions be someone with personality, showing why she got the belt.
She's great. Chewing the gum and then giving it to Byron Saxton to hold and
putting it in
pulling
his
him
hand.
around. One thing that helps, and I don't like this typically, but Byron Saxton was corpsing a little bit doing it, but like everything, it's almost like she was doing the most ridiculous things trying to get him to corpse, and he's holding back. I like that stuff, So, and he was like holding back as much as possible because everything she's doing is great.
Yes.
And then she's going to Disneyland as well with her husband, Matt Cardona.
And she mentioned that we're going to Disneyland. So there you go. It's like the old Super Bowl commercials, except there it was Disney World.
Yes.
The quarterback from the winning team. What are you going to do next? I'm going to Disney World.
Mm-hmm.
Trivia time for anybody in the chat or in the comments. Do you know the first time they did that Super Bowl I'm going to Disney World commercial?
Ooh, I wonder.
If I remember, I will say so in the Italian goodbye.
We'll see if anyone says it in the chat.
We'll see if anyone says in the chat. There you go. By the way, wherever you're catching the live stream tonight, as we are live streaming during Monday Night Raw on the 23rd, find us over on YouTube. That's our home base. That's where our archive of shows are. Not only these live streams that are archived there that you can watch anytime you want, but the great edited videos, John, that you make, and the shorts, the hashtag shorts that are under 60 seconds. All of that stuff is there. Subscribe. There's also a premium option there if you want to join as a premium member. Like our stuff. Jump in the comments. Tell us what you think about stuff, even if you disagree with us. Plenty of ways to interact with us over on Don't Bury the Lead. Be one of our first 1,000 subscribers as we're inching our way towards that 1,000 mark. Help us out if you can. Join the fun. So much more content on the way. Do that.
Yeah. Thanks. Go ahead, subscribe. We're at 945 subscribers, so we are 55 short of 1,000, which is a huge milestone for us.
Yes, I got to start going to liquor stores and looking for woo-ski.
I have scoured the internet, and I cannot find it anywhere. Only that one goofball tweet, and he just never mentioned it again. So I couldn't find it. One more match here before we go over to the thumb drive. Mm-hmm. We have Johnny Gargano versus Alex Shelley, and Johnny Gargano wins this matchup. What'd you think of this matchup, Dom?
Pretty good wrestling match between two evenly matched guys who they've been playing up to, they have history together, and you can sense it in the ring.
Yeah,
because they do know each other. Great working chemistry between the two of them. This match goes about 10 minutes. Yes, and Johnny Gargano wins this. They start off the match, with neither one of their tag team partners at ringside. They each wanted to do it one-on-one. Eventually, Tommaso Ciampa comes out for a distraction. Chris Sabin quickly out to neutralize him. Back in the ring, Alex Shelley with a top turnbuckle crossbody, but Gargano rolls through, grabs the tights for a roll-up pinfall, and then quickly scampers out of the ring. So Johnny Gargano doing the heel stuff again. He not only manipulated and fooled his friends to gain the tag team belts, but now he's grabbing tights and doing underhanded stuff.
Yeah. Um, I thought, there were some spots that were pretty good. There were really good chops by Alex Shelley at one point. Like he was chopping the hell out of Johnny Gargano.
Stiff chops. Yep.
Did you notice that the ring was like very smoky, like throughout the course of it? It must have been some pyro from Alex Shelley or something like that. Because I just noticed some like
Oh.
lingering smoke the whole time. I don't know if that like threw the crowd off because they were like a little quiet during the match.
Okay, and maybe they got the fog rolled in there and they couldn't see too well. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the Fog Bowl, Eagles Bears.
Hmm.
But we had a nasty head bump too that Shelley took when he basically picked him up on his shoulder and like I don't even know what this move is, but he just threw him and his head hit the second turnbuckle.
Yeah, I called it a javelin move.
Javelin,
Kind of
yeah.
picked him up on his shoulder and just tossed him into the corner. And yeah, Alex Shelley went headfirst into the second turnbuckle.
Yeah, it looks like a nasty head bump. I guess he's just trying to he's new to the company. This is the first time in WWE. They're going to do some crazy stuff because they're just trying to stay on the roster, right?
Or maybe he's done that before and he knows how to take it.
Yeah.
Shades of Sami Zayn getting javelined by Braun Breaker into the timekeeper's area against the rolling chair that doesn't fold up in the barricade.
That was pretty bad, though. There's no way that Sammy was like, "Yeah, let's do that. This is how it should be executed."
Yeah, I do like the action in this match. A lot of quick stuff going on. One really cool sequence I liked was Alex Shelley with a knee to the midsection, then a kick to the back of the neck for a 2 count. Transitioned right into an arm bar, but Gargano rolled through into a pin attempt for a 2 count. They each got back to their feet. Alex Shelley did a standing float over neck breaker, which I haven't. That's something that like they do and nobody else does, as far as I can tell. To just jump up and kind of flip over the guy, so you're floating over him, but you're holding on to the front face lock, and you turn it into a neck breaker. Really athletic move by both guys because Gargano's got to like really be in great position for that, and he's got to have excellent timing to go with that move, or it just becomes dangerous and doesn't work.
Yeah,
so these two guys work well together. Yeah,
yeah. Then they have a huge history because you've got Corey Graves talking about when they were in the Indies together and they were sleeping at Johnny Gargano's house. So really, it's like a throwback to the indie scene that we were in. They're like, yeah, people would just kind of crash at other people's houses and they'd hang out afterwards. So,
crazy cool. Though that Corey Graves he's kind of ragging on who's supposed to be the heel. Like he's the reverse Jesse Ventura. He's the reverse Bobby the Brain Heenan on the announce desk.
Yeah, I noticed that too. It's strange.
He's just like really laying into the heels, like they're terrible. Like
Gargano, yeah, because he's trashing Gargano. I don't know if it's like a history thing with their matches or what the deal was. Like if he's trying, it's some 4D chess they're doing there. Where I'm like, why is he being so cruel with the heel? But anyway, so that's all I have for the show. Anything else you want to add?
No, I think this is it. We're going down everything, and interesting show. Shorter show by TV time. We talked about a couple of weeks ago. They when they gave the first 30 minutes commercial free. That wound up being on the long side of a SmackDown as far as what we got to see as TV viewers. This one was on the short side, so maybe that's a good lead-in for drive time here. Is it time for the thumb drive? Yes, I'm looking up on the screen. I see the background there. It's ready.
It's ready, Dom. It's drive time.
You and I are going to distill this SmackDown that we watched into a simple thumbs up or a thumbs down. There are no ties. There are also no star ratings, no number grades, no letter grades. You're taking this course. Pass, fail.
Dom, we're not Dave Meltzer. We don't do star ratings. We don't do 7 stars in the Tokyo Dome. We don't do 2 stars at the SoFi Arena at WWE Raw and Netflix. No. We don't do star ratings. We just say, hey, it's a thumbs up or a thumbs down. So are you ready?
I am.
3, 2, 1. Oh, Dom, why'd you give this show a thumbs up?
This was the tale of 2 hours. I mean, after the opening match, the first hour was like, my goodness, they don't have any material at all.
Mhm.
And then as the second hour hit and we got a little further into it, Alex Shelley, Johnny Gargano was a good match. The women's tag match was a good main event with a lot of other stuff going on that fit what they were doing. And as I went back and looked at everything, we got a short show TV time wise, but they gave the wrestlers a fair amount of match time. 15 minutes for the opening match, 12 for the main event. Shelley and Gargano got 10 plus. So there was decent wrestling on the show. If it had gone in the reverse where the first hour was gangbusters and the second hour dragged, then the last thing you watch is usually what you give it on.
Yeah.
Then I would have gone thumbs down. But they picked it, they saved it. I think they saved it with the last 2 matches and with the fact that we did get a lot of wrestling on the show.
I typically am just a big fan of just, hey, there's wrestling. I'm good to go. I'll give it a thumbs up. And maybe I've been a little spoiled because WWE's been pretty hot this year.
Yes.
And as a result of that, this felt like a Vince McMahon SmackDown with the Grayson Waller effect, with the really long opening promo, with the holding of the tights as the finisher, with the 10 count out, with just a litany of like different weird non-clean finishes. And I was just like not too into any of the matches. I didn't think any of them stood out. And I think it's because I've been spoiled and I typically go thumbs up. This might have been like the second or third time I've given a thumbs down in all of 2024. But this one I was like watching today and I'm like, I could have easily skipped this and read about it and moved on. So I just didn't see that there was a lot for it. I think the improvement could be that there's got to be like a better match in there from someone, There's got to be a Gunther match style where he is great every time he's out there. I didn't see any really good wrestling.
Okay, fair enough. And I was with you until the maybe the last half hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Where I said, okay, they may have saved the show enough for a thumbs up.
Well, there we have it. A thumbs up and a thumbs down. We usually typically err on the side of positivity and we'll go thumbs up. But I was a little pessimistic. Maybe he was watching it on a Monday afternoon, but might throw me off. But I gave it a thumbs down, but not terrible. Like I could have easily given it. I was thinking just going thumbs up, and I was like, they've been too good lately, and the bar's getting set high now that SmackDown's improved this past
we
year.
We don't do star ratings, letter grades, or number grades, but occasionally we grade on a curve.
Yes, right. All right, Dom. Well, I'll tell you what. It is freezing.
Yes.
In South Jersey, but it's boiling hot in this room because I have an oversized radiator. And
even in the dead of winter, we bring the heat.
It's time for Cheap Heat. Cheap Heat is a segment where we talk about trending topics in the WWE, AEW, other parts of the wrestling world. This is kind of our bread and butter. What we built the YouTube channel on is talking about the trending topics. We'll talk about these trending topics and then we'll cut the video down into shorter, like 3, 4, 5 minute versions of the Cheap Heat here. And then we release the full Cheap Heat as well. I'll go ahead and share your screen as Restream's updated. So I am fumbling through, and
there we go. We got it. We've got some new toys we're playing with here, right? It is the season. And Cream has some upgrades. There we go. We've got it up there. I can see it as well. Conor McGregor. You had sent this to me. Conor McGregor says he agrees to fight Logan Paul in India in a boxing match, not a wrestling match, a boxing match. This was they were talking about this. I will not play the sound, but they were talking about this on one of these ESPN shows here. This comes to us from ESPN. That's Stephen A. Smith, and I believe that was Shannon Sharp over there. You can see them both on the screen there talking. What say you about this Conor McGregor Logan Paul news?
Another Paul boxing match against kind of a washed up fighter. Conor McGregor is not even a boxer, which is interesting,
No.
but he is a big draw for sure. I wonder what people's appetite for this stuff will be after the Tyson Jake Paul thing, because that was not reviewed well.
Yeah.
Or do people just keep watching because it's a big freak show? And, you can't argue with the results. Like, people continue to tune in to these Paul boxing match freak shows. And will it be like one promo where they want to, Conor says something mean, then Logan Paul does this, and it's kind of a worked shoot, these boxing matches, right? Like,
I don't watch them enough to know. I've heard for a long time that for decades and decades that boxing had a seedy underbelly to it, and things were perhaps fixed here and there. I don't know, and I don't know enough about boxing to know what to look for if I watch a boxing match and say, "Oh, that's obviously a guy pulling his punches," or these are guys going easy on each other. It's if you do it legitimately, it's a difficult sport. It
oh yeah, for
takes
sure.
your breath away because it's constant movement. There's no even like little bitty pauses you can do for a split second. It's constant movement. It's strength, it's agility, it's being able to absorb impact. It's a fantastic test of athleticism when it's done completely on the up and up.
For sure. And, they are two big names. Well, McGregor is a huge name in the fight game, basically for his UFC run. And I think, you're still going to have people that want to watch it. Interesting that it's in India. I wonder if they India just is trying to pull the Saudi Arabia thing where they're trying to have big fights. I don't know, or big sporting events. That's the
Boxing has a history with that, though. Boxing, more than any sport, takes its global aspect seriously and has for decades. I mean, the Rumble in the Jungle. I mean, Muhammad Ali famously fighting people all around the world for the big matches.
And at the end of the day, you talk about a guy like Logan Paul and Conor McGregor. They're the head of our lead of a pro wrestling show, and for good reason. Like, it's going to get clicks. It's going to have people paying attention. So give the devil his due with Logan Paul. Like, he's probably going to have a lot of people watch this.
So is Conor McGregor. McGregor's a huge draw, and one of the reasons why they're trying to get him back into a UFC ring is because he alone is a draw. I know people who, if Conor McGregor's involved in something, they buy the pay-per-view.
Yeah. He's way over.
And he did box once. McGregor has appeared in a professional boxing bout only once, a 2017 fight against Floyd Mayweather, which ended in a 10th round TKO defeat. That was impressive because Mayweather's a real boxer. Yeah. And McGregor lasted 10 rounds with him. Did not win the match, but that was a really good showing athletically for McGregor. So like you were saying, I wonder how this goes because neither one of these guys are known primarily as boxers.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. India, that you bring up India, that is an interesting place to hold it. Why not Japan?
I don't know.
Can you go to Japan?
Oh, you got it. You got me. Oh man. He can't do it in Japan. Dave Meltzer would give it 7 stars if it was in Japan, though. It would be all over Dave Meltzer's radar if it was in Japan. Yes. But yeah, I don't think Logan Paul's allowed in Japan. You're right.
Can you go to Japan? I can go to Japan. Of course I could go to Japan. I love those people. It's like a video game.
It's like a video game.
So Conor McGregor and Logan Paul. Meanwhile, Logan Paul doing his wrestling stuff. WWE's X account. Logan Paul doing a promo for WWE's Raw on Netflix debut, where Logan Paul knows you'll be watching. He says he's now going to be on Raw after telling us he retired because he's a father now. Now he's saying he's a bully and the WWE is his playground. He's the bully on the playground. What do you think of Logan Paul suddenly coming out of retirement for Raw's debut on Netflix?
It was a pretty good promo.
Okay.
I have to say, he had a good promo. He executed it well, and there are times when he's just not been bad on the mic.
Yep.
And real corny on the mic, but this was not one of them. I thought this was one of his better promos, which is to say he was okay, but one of his better promos.
Yeah, and we've got people here in the comments saying people love to hate him, which is true. I like from Fog Jones there of Pro Wrestling Nexus. We've got another one though that I really like down here below the ad. I actually deleted my Netflix account when I saw this.
That's great.
Ryan Batista, you win the internet today.
I'm done.
There you go. I love that one. I actually deleted my Netflix account when I saw this. So, hey, Logan Paul, like they say, people love to hate him. Speaking of another guy people love to hate, how about Tony Khan here in Variety? Dealmakers 2024 edition of Variety. Tony Khan, one of the featured deal makers of the year. And they're talking about his ability in entertainment that, while Vince McMahon is, and Vince McMahon's long dominated WWE, now post Vince McMahon, is doing great stuff with Netflix and with USA and with Peacock. They're making news here that AEW, they're not doing too shabby themselves. $185 million deal with Warner Brothers Discovery. More premium events. Broadcasting not only on TBS and TNT, but also Max streaming service. The company is now valued at more than $2 billion, making it the third most valuable combat sports company in the world, probably after UFC and WWE, who are actually under the same umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
So this is people giving Tony Khan his due as a businessman. John, you watch AEW, and you've long been talking about the fact that you like the product in the ring and on TV and on pay-per-views and in the arenas. You've been to some of their live shows in person. But they're getting a lot of crap from people, especially in new media, for like losing money and just giving away too many big contracts and not being a well-run business. What say you about a non-wrestling mainstreamish publication like Variety recognizing Tony Khan and AEW for the business side and the accomplishments they've had in 2024?
It tells you a little bit about the landscape of the internet wrestling community, like not really missing the big picture oftentimes with AEW and always hyper focusing on like little aspects of like what they're doing wrong with the storyline. And here they are, a company that was founded 5 years ago that is worth $2 billion. They're getting $185 million a year for their TV contract. That's huge. That's a large sum of money, and not really understanding, oh, well, they were taking a loss and they weren't profitable. It's like, that's not the modern way to run companies. They don't necessarily care about profit. They want to get to that point where they have that big valuation. So I think it's just the internet wrestling community misunderstanding how businesses are run and claiming that they would know how to run the business is always a riot. I mean, it ain't like this line says it ain't bragging if it's true. Like
there's that
totally
quote from Tony Khan. Yeah, if you wanted to read it or me, I've got it highlighted here. Our new arrangement signifies that AEW will make history as the first professional wrestling promotion to simulcast events weekly on top cable channels and a top streaming platform. So they're kind of one-upping the Peacock deal that WWE has, where they're going to do quarterly Saturday night main events.
Mm-hmm.
AEW plans to do this weekly, where it's not only on top cable channels, but it's also on a top streaming platform.
Yeah.
So they're not stopping. They're doing what they can to not only make like Tony Khan wants to be profitable. He wants the company to be profitable, and it may be on its way to doing so. And he's trying to reach more fans in a greater variety of ways.
It's got to be more profitable because he was like 30-some million. That was the old TV contract. Now it's 185.
Mm-hmm.
I know it like about 5x'd roughly for how much in revenue they were getting from the TV contract. And that's the biggest win for him. And I think a lot of people already assumed the company was just going to go the way of TNA without realizing what he kind of envisioned and was able to convince, Warner Brothers to give him. So kudos to Tony Khan. I think he's getting way too much crap on the internet these days, but that's just me talking.
And let's be a little fair with the math here. The $5 billion Netflix deal is not for 1 year. It's not like they're paying him $5 billion for 1 year. Mm-hmm. It's spread out. Was it a 10-year deal?
Yeah.
So $5 billion over 10 years. The AEW contract here, if it ran for 10 years, would be almost $2 billion.
It's comparable, right? I mean, it's less, but it's not too. It's about half of it.
It's not an order of magnitude bigger. It's like within sight.
Yeah, for sure. It could be double or triple, but it's still right there where they're making a large amount of revenue from that TV contract. And hey, they're not doing so great with TV with attendance, but as long as they're kind of getting to a point where they're breaking even with attendance, even losing money, the TV contract or now the streaming contract will keep them afloat.
Mm-hmm. Eric Bischoff said that when he started executive producing or being a VP down at WCW, that one of their problems was they were doing so many house shows, they were losing money. So he trimmed down the house shows and made it more efficient there and focused on TV. And that's how they rebounded as a business. They found an area of their revenue that was soft.
Yeah. And then we have a chat here.
I don't care as long as I get save on his 10-match pay-per-views. There you go. That's a great deal for the hardcore fans as well, right, Nick?
Yeah.
Like and if you're getting a better deal for the pay-per-views and maybe better streaming quality, then that's a bonus to the longtime fans who've stuck with them.
I will admit, though, for sure, Nick, the pay-per-views are too long. On Max, Hulu, or some other stream, so I don't have to pay $55 to fall asleep for the one opportunity I get to watch it.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, we went through that the 2 times we did recaps on Don't Bury the Lead of AEW.
Oh, we did it that night, and it was like 2 a.m. I'm like delusional doing the recaps because they're so late. That's a great thing that WWE's done. They've made their shows very watchable length. You almost want more at the end of the pay-per-views, and you're like,
yes,
we hit the recap.
And you wind up getting more because stuff happens afterwards that people only get on their phone cameras in the ring or whatever, in the arena.
And I desperately steal that content and re-upload it.
Yes, and we thank everybody who allows us to use their footage. So
I do ask to use the footage, which like nobody does. I do ask, but cool. That's a good segment here.
Speaking of AEW and contracts, Matt Cardona apparently had been offered an AEW contract, but his status is uncertain. Did he get hurt? And I know I've asked before. I'm wondering if there was reports that he got injured in his match against Chris Jericho, because they were playing that up for a while. And that maybe if that match went off well, that Matt Cardona would be in line for a pretty decent run in AEW. I hope they're still thinking of doing it. Matt Cardona's been sort of the king of the indies for a few years now, after leaving his Matt Striker gimmick in WWE. Would you want to see more Matt Cardona if he's healthy? Although he's had a few freak injuries recently, which is unfortunate for him. Would you want to see a healthy Matt Cardona in AEW?
Yeah, he's the king of the indies. And I think it's one of those guys that would really help out either WWE or AEW. If he can went back to either one of them, I think he's over enough, and he's probably the biggest indie act I can think of, the biggest indie guy I can think of that isn't signed to a major company. But it's cool that he's doing his thing in the indies too.
It was noted that on AEWshop.com was selling a Matt Cardona t-shirt. So that's got to be something. I hope Matt Cardona's getting a cut of that.
Yeah. We have another comment here from Nick. I'm going to step away now.
There you go. Go to WWE, be a henchman for Kevin Owens in this storyline. Oh, what a good idea that is. They're both kind of that brawling wrestler as well. Like Cardona had a reputation on the indies for, I think, doing some of that hardcore stuff as well. Yeah, he could be that guy. And he'd be great on SmackDown. We talked about the WWE trying to get couples onto the same show, doing that with Naomi and Jimmy Uso, now with Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae, Andrade and Charlotte Flair whenever Charlotte Flair is ready to come back. But Matt Cardona and Chelsea Green could be back in WWE together. Who knows? That could be very interesting. Dave Meltzer was reporting he did not know whether Cardona had signed, but he thought he had been offered a contract there. He had a brief run in AEW in 2020, made a one-off return earlier this year for an episode of Collision facing Adam Copeland, the former Edge. So a couple of former nostalgia WWE guys there, Edge and Matt Striker, got together for a one-off in AEW. I think, yeah, if Matt Cardona can be of value to AEW, yeah, bring him back over. I think that would be fantastic. Speaking of Matt Cardona, we brought up Chelsea Green saying she's going to Disneyland. Matt Cardona tweets out, "It's official. I'm one half of the WWE Women's United States Champion." He and Chelsea Green made it to Disneyland as they had said they would.
This is fantastic.
There they are having a blast. And of course, it's Matt Cardona holding up the Women's United States Championship belt. So he really is basking in the glow there. Good for them. People giving it to him. I knew you could do it. You know, I knew you could be the greatest second-tier women's champion in WWE, Matt. So good stuff. Love this tradition of them going to Disneyland. I hope Chris Jericho doesn't want that title. Fantastic stuff. Yeah, there they are. Everybody's having some fun with this stuff. Apparently, had Matt Striker been a WWE US champion himself at one point? Is that what they're alluding to in this mini little GIF here?
Maybe. I know he was an IC title, but I don't know if he was a US champ. But it sounds. I know he was a mid-card champ at one point.
There we go. You two are stinking adorable. Yes, they are. They're stinking adorable. And wherever Matt Cardona goes next, we wish him
I love he's holding the belt.
Yes, it's absolutely.
That's yeah. And you know, I think anybody that is outside of the WWE world wouldn't know who they were. They just like, who's this guy with this belt? You know, they're not like big stars, but they're acting like they're big stars, and they just won the Super Bowl.
Of course,
Chelsea Green won. Although it was a big win for Chelsea Green. I mean, I do have to give her credit.
Big win for Chelsea Green. And we won't even save it for the Italian goodbye. The first time they did the I'm going to Disney World Super Bowl winner commercial.
Was that the Giants?
New York Giants, Phil Simms. You got it.
Look at that.
That is way back. That's the way back machine there. And they just got real lucky with it because Simms was named the MVP of that Super Bowl. I think it was over the Broncos. I think they had it set up where whichever winning quarterback won the MVP, they were told to do that. And as they were walking off the field, they got a few takes with Phil Simms and used the best one for the commercial. Yeah, nice. And now it's just become part of pop culture, right? Super Bowl winner, I'm going to Disney World. Hey, women's inaugural United States champion, I'm going to Disneyland. There it is. Perfect stuff. More women's wrestling. Mercedes Moné and Mina Shirakawa apparently doing a belt versus belt at Wrestle Dynasty. NJPW Strong Champion Mercedes Moné and Mina Shirakawa. I'm not sure what belt she holds, but they did a lot of promos together here at what is this? This is This wasn't an NJPW event where they both appeared. Great to see AEW doing the cross-promoting here and letting Mercedes Moné do this. But what say you about women's wrestling getting a big profile interpromotionally, intercontinentally? Yeah,
they're trying to get it established.
Do you know much about Mina Shirakawa? I know you know about Mercedes Moné. Do you know much about Mina Shirakawa?
So they, I don't know anything. I'm not sure if Mina Shirakawa. So I know this with I know this as far as, oh no, I do know her. I saw her in AEW.
Okay.
No, I've seen her actually wrestle in real life, at AEW Collision. So, and she got a pretty big pop actually. So I do know her. I've seen her wrestle. And then I think in New Japan, what they're doing is they're trying to get more people they're trying to get women's wrestling going. They've never done women's wrestling really in New Japan Pro Wrestling. They had like their own individual companies that would run women's wrestling. And the women's wrestling was a little bit more like, it was more, it was more not necessarily just wrestling, I don't think.
Okay.
So,
and a lot of the big stars had to go elsewhere. Asuka, Io Sky.
Yes.
They had to go elsewhere.
Asuka, Io Sky. Yeah, a lot of the women can work too. Like the ones that got poached and went to WWE are awesome. Like Asuka was when Asuka came in, she was the best women's wrestler on the roster. I'd say now the women's division has improved so much in the WWE that she's like one of like 10 that are really good, So, and I think it's cool that Mercedes Moné continues to go between AEW and New Japan to just keep her hot in both places.
Yeah, she's had a good run in AEW. You're not tired of her. She's not stale yet. And any concerns?
Some people, there are some people that have said that don't like her, and I think they don't. And I can't even really figure out the reason why. They said they don't like her promos, but her promos aren't that long. She's great in the ring, so because she's great in the ring, I think that's what you really want her to deliver on, and she has.
Sure.
I think people just like to complain about AEW. It's very in vogue. It's very in. So whatever AEW does, it's like, oh, that's bad.
People also like to complain about Tessa Blanchard. This comes to us from WrestleZone. Lance Storm reveals the backstage reaction to Tessa Blanchard's TNA return. She returned at Final Resolution, and Lance Storm has been there for a while. Said that, I've always liked Tessa. I first met her back at NWA convention in Charlotte. I've known her for a long time, worked with her briefly in her last and my first TNA run. I do think that at some point people deserve second chances. She apparently had a lot of real heat with not so much the boys, but with the girls backstage for how she treated some of the other women wrestlers.
It's
whether
kind of
she-
hilarious how it all came out. She tweets, hey, we're women. We need to all work together. Something to that extent.
Mhm.
And then when she tweets this, everyone just starts tweeting under her all this crap that she had done to them in the past. Like, oh, is that when you like slapped me and called me this word? And
Yeah,
it was
right.
like, oh boy, you said that word to, and I'm not going to even allude to what the word is, to this girl, and you slapped her. And she's like, other people are like, I saw it happen. And then other people are like, you bullied me, blah, 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 blah. Like, you were so horrible. And like the list of people trashing her online was amazing because the original tweet was, hey, like, let's all get along. And it was like,
Yeah.
no, we're not
No.
going to get along.
Not with
Not
you.
with you. So she has apparently been really unpopular. From my perspective, I have only really seen her wrestle once, but I thought she was the real deal. So, and she's so big, like, and like she's strong. I don't know. She seemed like a strong fighter. She's just like her old man.
Daughter of
Tully.
Tully Blanchard. There you go.
Yeah.
She's daughter of one of the horsemen. There you go. When asked how the locker room reacted to her return, Storm said he only saw positive responses and interactions backstage. It's wrestling. Everyone is going to react professionally. If you were against it, you would probably avoid her. I only saw positive responses and interaction. Most people don't want to make a scene, so if there were people who weren't happy about it, they kept quiet. All I saw was positive reaction. So that's an interesting wrinkle there that, of course, the people who are real pros are going to give her a chance. But you wonder if there's some festering resentment from people who are just avoiding the subject for a while. And what happens if, at some point they have to work together and somebody's like, I don't want to work with her.
Mm-hmm. And
So-
the thing is, she's a good worker. And in addition to that, she's like a 10 out of 10 look. She's like, I don't want to say she's like Jade. She's different than Jade, but she's jacked. So a lot of people were comparing her to China, actually. A little bit. Yeah. So this is, that's the only photo we have of her.
Just from like the chest up, you could see a little bit of the arms as they're outstretched. So she definitely looks like she's in shape.
Yeah. No, she's in pretty good shape. So she like, it looks like she'd kick the crap out of you. And when she was wrestling in TNA, she was the champ. She was the intergender champ. So she was beating the guys.
Oh, wow, intergender champ. Oh, I've forgotten the TNA tried doing that.
Yeah, they tried to have her. She was the first woman to ever win the men's belt. And then they were going to make her the real deal. And then eventually she went to Mexico and said, I don't want to come back to the company. And they're like, give us the belt back. And she threw the belt in the trash, something like that. Something to that extent. So, yeah.
So much for the intergender belt. Somewhere Andy Kaufman is smiling.
Right.
By the way, all the way back in the Don't Bury the Lead archives, we've got an Andy Kaufman short video clip that you put together a long time ago. That was before we got a ton of subscribers. So that one, that's one of our hidden gems from way back when we just didn't have a lot of people watching our channel. That may be a good one to search for, or maybe to repost again.
That Andy Kaufman video that we made was our first ever wrestling video that got over 100 views. And I was like,
there you go.
And I was like, yes, it's over 100. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And now it's like, we're at 500,000 views, right?
Yeah, but if you put out an edited clip and it doesn't get like 500, you're like, oh, the algorithms are burying us.
Yes, I know. That's exactly how I feel.
We're shadow banned.
We did the Rock one, didn't go over so well. The Rock's Mount Rushmore
one.
Yeah, so I'm gonna I'm probably gonna just. And if you're watching this now, go watch that Rock one. I need some views.
There you go.
I think I'm going to just use it for a bunch of shorts. I think that'll get over and get us some subscribers. But, that was just like a good example. If it doesn't get over 100 now, it's seen as like a total flop. As before, when we got 100, it was like, wow, this is our best video of the year.
This is the greatest thing we've ever done. We're famous.
We're famous.
We're minor celebrities.
Mhm.
We're gonna need to wear disguises when we go places now to keep the paparazzi away. So very good there, Tessa Blanchard. If people will be professional and work with her, she is a great professional wrestler. So good for her.
Mhm.
Speaking of professional wrestlers, maybe doing something a little different. Becky Lynch, this comes to us from comingsoon.net. She has a recurring role in a new Star Trek series, Starfleet Academy. This apparently is going to be on Paramount Plus. She is signed up to star in, she will be part of the bridge crew for I'm so excited to share with all of you. I'm joining Star Trek Starfleet Academy as part of the bridge crew. Looks like while no premiere date has been set for Star Trek Starfleet Academy, it was previously announced the series has been renewed for season 2. They have some past stars from other Star Trek series who are also there as recurring guest stars. Might this explain why Becky Lynch has been slow to get back into a full-time WWE schedule? Maybe she's got other stuff going on besides being a parent. You know, she's the mom of a little girl. Besides that, maybe she has other stuff to keep her occupied professionally. What say you? What do you know about the Star Trek Starfleet Academy series and or other properties in the Star Trek umbrella there?
I don't know anything, but if she is able to get cast, and good for her, it'll only make her pop better when she comes back, because they're going to be people that know her from the show, right? And then in addition to that, it's probably a lot easier to be with your daughter and you're on that show rather than be on the road, because that's really
Right.
brutal, being on the road. So if she just has her daughter and she is like a daycare and hopefully like some help at home too,
Sure.
and she could just stay somewhere for 2 months or something like that, 2-3 months, and shoot, get paid a lot of money, probably hopefully like equal to what she's making in WWE, and she just has the kid there with her. It's probably going to
You
be
could
easier.
bring her daughter with her when she's shooting, because it's like you said, it's one location.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't mean to spoil the fun for anybody, but the Star Trek, they film in one location. They don't actually have to go to each individual planet and galaxy in order to film that scene. They stay in one place. It's just in a big old sound studio somewhere in Hollywood, just like the moon landing. They don't have to go anywhere. It's just there.
Tom, I saw one person dropped off. You must have really hurt their feelings.
Oh no!
You spoiled the secret.
It's like, no!
Oh, I thought they went to Mars.
And so near Christmas, he's probably going to spoil Santa Claus for me now as well.
Well, we all know he's real, so let's not get crazy.
One more here. Idris Elba kicks off CBB's Bedtime Stories Star-Studded Festive Week. This is from the BBC. You should be so lucky to have a Christmas Day bedtime story read from famous stars over on the BBC if you're joining us from the UK or have access to that channel. I, of course, pulled out this story not for Idris Elba, but for the person way down here at the bottom. Cody Rhodes will be reading a bedtime story to British children.
Wow.
I believe it's going to be around New Year's Day, perhaps. But this is interesting. Cody Rhodes, he's everywhere.
He really is everywhere. Is there a bunch of big stars that do this, and then they included Cody Rhodes?
He is a big star too.
Yeah.
That's what this means. He is a big star too. Welcoming in the new year on Wednesday, the 1st of January, undisputed WWE champion Cody Rhodes reads Gigantic by Rob Biddulph about a very small and determined blue whale. There you go. I wonder if he has entrance music for his reading of the bedtime story.
You know, this really shows you just how little I know about the pop world and in general. I'm looking at these names. I don't know who any of these people are.
I don't know who they are either. I know even less than you do.
I'm like, who's James Norton? I feel like I've heard that name, but I'd have to see him. Or Lou Carter and Deborah Allwright.
I don't know who they are either. I've barely heard of Idris Elba.
Yeah.
Justin Fletcher, comedian Mo Gilligan. These may be people who are more famous in Great Britain.
Mm-hmm.
You know, also saying, you know, it's another continent, another country, another culture. Who knows? Pop superstar Kylie counts down Aussie style with the Australian 12 Days of Christmas by Michael Salmon.
Yeah, this is kind of a low list. These aren't really huge stars because Kylie is a person that made a single when I was in high school, and that's her big hit. And I am a 39-year-old man, so that single must have been out, I don't know, 22 years ago. So
it must be a fantastic song because 22 years later, she will read a bedtime story to spoiled, rotten British children who are I don't know if they're spoiled rotten, but you know, it just seems to me that if you're getting your bedtime story read to you by someone on TV,
yeah,
I don't know what's going on there. But there he is, maybe the biggest star of all, Cody Rhodes, for the BBC CBBS bedtime story.
Well, you got Sir Elton John, Chris Hemsworth, Dolly Parton. Those are big stars.
Those are big stars.
Harry Styles.
Digital library of over 300 archived episodes of whatever it is that they do under the CBB brand. Yes, includes a lot of big stars. Again, I will say it, none bigger than Cody Rhodes.
None bigger. I love it. I love
mean,
it. We're putting Cody over.
There you go. You know, it's a Sir Elton John. I mean, sure, he's been knighted. But like there's a lot of people who've been knighted. There's only one undisputed universal WWE champion at the moment. It's Cody Rhodes.
And guess what? Elton John, you're done your tour. He retired. So guess what?
Retired.
Move on over. It's Cody's show.
You've retired. You just move along like Logan Paul.
Or is he retired like Rey Mysterio?
Or is he, retired like Rey Mysterio? Or just, keep touring even though you're retired. Yes. Very good stuff. That's all I got. I just put a bunch of blank tabs up there because I was furiously clicking the mouse. But yeah, I figured we'd end on a cheap heat on a bedtime story. It is pathologically frugal. It is unseasonably warm. John, what is it?
It's cheap heat.
Indeed it is.
There we go.
Tell us in the chat. Tell us in the comments. What do you think of the stories that John and I found this week from around the interwebbies and commented on? Was there any big news that you think we missed, that you're surprised we didn't hear about and throw up here on the screen? Do you disagree with any of our takes on it? Leave us your thoughts in the comments in the chat if you're here with us live. And, perfect segue there. Nick, who hosts the Nick Club Wrestling Happy Hour,
go check them out.
YouTube channel. Go check out the Nick Club Wrestling Happy Hour.
I was on.
Cardona and Cody are real life good friends. I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay.
The more you learn in the Italian goodbye.
Right. There you go. I did not know Cardona and Cody are real life good friends. I wonder if that means that Cardona has an in if he ever comes back wants back in WWE.
Yeah.
And, they both left, and now Cody's back. Maybe Cardona's back.
We might have some new viewers to this segment here, but
excellent.
This is the Italian goodbye. So
tell us what you thought of SmackDown as John and I unsuccessfully ended the live stream.
Yeah,
we're just going to keep bringing up, and did you, did something else, the live stream should have ended a few minutes ago. It hasn't. It won't.
Yeah, the what we do is the Italian goodbye. So, if you're an Irish family, you might not even say goodbye to each other. You just leave. You bounce. You do the Irish goodbye. The Italian goodbye includes, oh, it's time to get going. But then you're kind of like waiting around. You're still starting different conversations. Then you make your way to the foyer, and you're kind of hanging out in the foyer, and you're having another conversation, and it goes on and on and on. And you really gotta give yourself 30 minutes to get out of there, because conversations are going to just keep starting back up. You start having the conversations, it's a whole thing. That's what we do here, the Italian goodbye.
And another thing, goodbye. You should come over next time. Oh, we'll bring the thing. Oh, I'd love to. Remember the last time we came over and we did the thing and we brought that was one. Where did you find that again? And that's parting is such sweet sorrow.
Parting is such sweet sorrow that we do it in the style of the Italians, where we will ramble on and on until we get tired and have to go home.
So we already did the first Super Bowl I'm going to Disney World person. We did not save it for the Italian goodbye. We did that already in cheap heat because we brought up the Disneyland.
I wanted to bring up something with you. We have people on now.
Okay.
I would like to do an awards show.
An awards show, okay.
And I was thinking we could do, and I can't watch SmackDown on Friday night because I will be out and about on Friday night.
Okay, on the 20, whatever it is, the 27th.
And I'm thinking it would be easiest if we did the award show on that Friday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So Friday evening, we do an end-of-year awards show. Okay. Yeah, but come up with some interesting categories. We'll have to brainstorm that. What kind of interesting categories would you like to see as an award for the Don't Bury the Lead 2024 yearly recap? Tell us in the chat. Tell us in the comments. We've done some fun things like the Ricochet Memorial Award for the person who loses a lot but manages to look strong and make the other person look really good in the process.
That's the best one.
Yeah, like giving a nod to people who are so important and valuable on a roster, even if they're not always getting their hands raised.
Mm-hmm. We could do that. We are also going to be giving, for the first time ever, an award to the Fan of the Year. So someone that's been in our chat.
Oh.
Yes. We will be giving out that title. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Don't Bury the Lead Fan of the Year.
Oh, we can do that now that we actually have fans.
Exactly. So be sure to tune in to see if you are that fan, because I will be honest with you. I'm going to pick one that's there. And if they're not there, I'm just going to give it to them anyway. And say, hey, I gave it to you.
Yes, you must be present at the Oscars. We don't want you sending up someone else to give your speech. We want you there for the live stream so that when you win the award, you can give your brief chat speech where you, chat in, I'd like to thank the Academy and everybody else. Yes.
and I'm thinking, the best man, the best woman wrestler, the best men, the best woman, Ricochet Memorial Award, and also on top of that, best man, best woman, Ricochet
Match
Memorial
of the
Award.
Year, maybe, or a wild card. Like we each get to pick a wild card award that we want to throw out there.
Match of the Year is good. Yeah, let's do Match of the Year.
Okay.
We'll say Match of the Year. I think that's enough. That'll be enough for us.
Might be enough, yeah.
Do you want to do it like where we agree, or do you want to just say, "Oh no, this is my Match of the Year," and then you have your Match of the Year?
We could surprise each other there, and maybe we talk each other into it.
Yeah. Maybe you get. I'll do with my thing. We'll give each other our picks, and then we'll be like, "Hey, this one was unanimous," or I'll send my pick, and you say, "Okay, that's a good one. Let's go with that."
We could do that. We could surprise the fans. We could surprise each other. We should.
Right. I guess we could go back and forth with, okay, who's your Ricochet Memorial? Bang. And then say it's Ricochet. And it's not Ricochet, but
Yeah.
theoretically, like Ricochet or something. No, what if it was Cody Rhodes? It's like, no, you misunderstood the award.
Yes. Like, what if Ricochet came back to the WWE and won the Ricochet Memorial Award?
I have seen that Ricochet left the WWE, and because he left the WWE, he wanted to get like wins, and he wanted to like do something in AEW. Do you think that he saw our WWE presentation of like him as a jobber, and it said "paid to lose"? Did he see that video and he
Did
was
he
like,
see that shorts?
yeah. Look at
Oh,
it.
way back. We noticed that in the first few months of doing Don't Bury the Lead. That we
Yeah.
liked Ricochet, but he was the guy who was always putting over someone else. Now, we were very complimentary to him. We graded him out as one of a handful of B grades.
Mhm.
When we did our first partial year of doing Don't Bury the Lead, we did a grading show at the end of the year. And we gave out 3 A's to Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, and Jimmy Uso. And we gave out 6 B's. And I'm going to try to remember them. It was Gunther, Roman Reigns, LA Knight, Damage Control, Liv Morgan, and Ricochet. And the reason we gave it to Ricochet was that, you and I, being longtime wrestling fans and also being involved in pro wrestling on the indie level, we appreciate what a guy like Ricochet does. That is not easy.
Yeah.
Like, he's not
seriously.
sent in there to be a jobber. Like, okay, you're just going to get squashed. No, he's sent in there where he has to look good because they're going to keep using him in that role. So he has to look good. But he also has to make the other guy look good as well.
Yeah, totally. This is the video here. It says "paid to lose, jobber of the year." Who was WWE's best jobber in 2023?
There you
And
go.
it's him looking sad. But it was a complimentary award. He went out and he did his job, and as a result of him doing his job, he he put on entertaining matches even though he lost, which is
And
way
we liked
better.
it.
Way better than, oh, they put on a match, I hated it. Oh, but this guy won. I'm like, who cares? The match sucked,
SmackDown match of the year for 2022. I thought when they finally gave Ricochet the push to get through the World Cup tournament for an IC title, him versus Gunther was a fantastic match.
Yep.
Pay-per-view quality match. He puts on great matches. I was very glad to see him and Braun Strowman get that odd couple push and have a run with the WWE men's tag team belts.
Mm.
So he was not just a guy who lost, but he was a guy who, when he went out there, and if he was going to lose the match, he was still going to look great, and the other guy was going to look great too.
Hey, for this 2024, and we do match of the year, are we going to be selecting? This match had to happen on SmackDown,
Do you want to do that? A SmackDown match of the year?
or maybe we should do that
Because we did SmackDown match of the year last year. It had to be something on SmackDown.
I'll have to dip through the archives and see what it was.
Yeah, it's been a long year by the time we get to the end of December.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember what was this year and what was not this year. Oh,
Right.
and trying not to have too much of a recency bias.
It totally turns into recency bias.
Like, what did we just see last week? Alex Shelley, Johnny Gargano, match of the year.
Yeah.
It's because the last one we saw,
There's some stuff with I gotta go back. LA Knight was doing all this stuff earlier before he had the title.
Yes, there was some good LA Knight stuff.
No pay-per-views, just SmackDown.
Mm-hmm. I can't remember last year, but the Bray Wyatt and Terry Funk Memorial SmackDown. That, I think, I don't know if we called that match of the year, but LA Knight Finn Balor.
Oh.
At the Bray Wyatt Memorial match that was the main event of that Memorial episode of SmackDown. That was a great match.
Yeah. I might have to be we got Bianca Belair too. If she had some singles matches, she could easily get one.
We did. We had some Bianca Belair matches this year. We've seen a lot of good stuff on SmackDown. Overall, watching SmackDown gets a thumbs up. Overall.
Hell yeah.
And doing these great Don't Bury the Lead live streams with you, that gets a thumbs up, way up.
Way up.
I'm gonna do star ratings for this one. That one gets 7 thumbs up in the Tokyo Dome. Doing Don't Bury the Lead.
If we did the show in the Tokyo Dome, we'd get 7 stars.
It would get 7 thumbs up. There you go. Even though nobody we know has 7 thumbs, it's but still whatever.
We still have some people here. If you have any comments, you guys have anything you want to add, let us know what you think about the wrestling show, what you think about our show. If you're watching Raw, let us know what's going on there.
What suggestions do you have for recognizing some of the great performers and performances we've seen in 2024 on SmackDown?
I'm going to step away.
Yeah. Well, what say you there? Wrestler of the year, probably one men's division, one women's division. Maybe a tag team of the year. Maybe we'll go match of the year again. Maybe men's division, women's division. That could be fun. So lots of things we could do with it. Let's see here. We could go, of course, the Ricochet Memorial Award. Somebody who doesn't win all the time, but who does a great job of looking strong when he or she wrestles. And then making the other person look great as well. I have someone in mind for that. I don't know if we'll split it into men's and women's again, but I have someone in mind for that, at least one person in mind for that. And I bet John does too. And I bet we may each wind up picking the same person. Although it may be like, well, has this person done too much winning to qualify for the Ricochet Memorial Award? We'll have to we'll have to parse that backstage as we're getting ready for the year-end show. It'll be fun to go back and just jog through my notes there at some matches and try to remember them, and maybe go on to WWE's archive on Peacock and look for whatever. Maybe I can go and watch one of those episodes in the archive with the Peacock subscription that I have here. That's the only streaming subscription I have is Peacock. That could be a lot of fun to go back and actually rewatch some matches. This could be a good idea, John. That's a good idea. I will get ready for a year-end SmackDown recap, an annual recap for SmackDown coming up this Friday. Since year-end shows tend to be a little wonky as people are out on vacation. This SmackDown we recapped tonight, by the way, was taped previously, recorded, and aired. So it wasn't even live on Friday. This time of year, the schedules get a little wonky. People get time off for holidays to be with family. And so you deal with it. I mean, a recorded show isn't necessarily the worst thing in the world. If it's good action, then it doesn't matter. I don't read a lot of spoilers anyway. I'm not that kind of internet wrestling fan where I'm constantly trying to one-up people and, want to impress people because I know what's going to happen even before it happens. Because they recorded this already. They recorded it in some arena 5 days ago. So I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. I'll spoil it for you. Go like, I know what's going on. Nope. I'm here to be entertained. I don't need the information ahead of time. Just want to watch. And then I'll do a little browsing afterwards to see some of the social media stuff. That's where we get a lot of our cheap heat stories and elements, items there for cheap heat. I'll do that. I'll watch some of the extra footage, maybe some of the fan footage stuff. That can be entertaining as well. But I'm not into, being the smart mark who has to be really smarmy about it and impress everybody that I know what's happening ahead of time. I don't do a lot of predictions. John and we don't do a lot of predictions here. I'm not good at predictions, but I also don't see much of the value in doing a lot of predictions. When John and I have done our WrestleMania preview predictions, it's we're predicting what matches we most want to see, that we're most excited in. We're not really doing like, betting odds. Who do we think is going to win? We're just doing, hey, what match are you most looking forward to? What do you predict will be the best match to watch that you really think you're going to enjoy the most? Now, those are the kind of predictions that I do. I do predictions as somebody watching who's a fan who wants to be entertained. So that's really what we're about. We've tried to keep Don't Bury the Lead with that kind of vibe. That, even though John and I have some insider knowledge into wrestling from being involved in the indie circuit, being involved in promotions, each as on-camera and in-arena performers. John is a wrestler, me as the broadcaster, commentator, interviewer guy, the broadcast journalist. We have a little bit of knowledge of how things work, but we don't approach this as if we're smarmy inside sources who are here to, show everybody how much we know about pro wrestling, or how much we know about behind the scenes or happening in the promotions. We're here really to be fans. So our end of year show is done as a couple of guys who enjoy watching pro wrestling.
Yeah, that's for sure, Dom. I totally agree. One of the things is too, and I kind of mentioned it earlier on the show, just to be some tendency that people are a little much online with the way that they review the shows, they recap the shows. Mm-hmm. They hate watch it, and then they'll just tear it down to shreds, and you're like, why do you want to do that? And as a performer myself, I wrestled in the indies. Dom, you were an announcer. Mm-hmm. If you had people doing that, you'd probably be like, oh, who are these people? Why are they doing this? So I think we err on the side of positive stuff. Now, we do have to call out if it's crap. Be mm-hmm. like, it was just so good. But for the most part, if it's okay, it's good, Yeah,
we bring a lot of experience in pro wrestling, both as observers and as participants. But mm-hmm. when we do these recaps, we don't do it as, oh, this is how I would have booked it. We do it as, okay, what got presented to us today, and did we enjoy it? Was there an element of skill involved that was evident to us that held our attention and made it worthwhile to watch? As far as everybody else, as far as that other element that you see, especially online in today's perpetually online culture, I got to tell you, man, pro wrestling is real. Smart wrestling fans are fake.
the smart, I love how they're like, oh, they're smart. And then I'll see in the comments, oh, you Mark. It's like, no, you're a Mark. You're the fan. You are a Mark.
You're in the comment section. You're a Mark. If you're in the comment section calling someone else a Mark, you're the Mark now.
You're the Mark. You're in the comment section.
The video is now your arena, and you are doing the Mark thing by calling the other person the Mark.
Oh, hey, Dom, on Friday, I'm pretty much available. I do have plans at night.
Okay.
Could you be available to do a show earlier, perhaps?
Earlier on the Friday. How earlier on the Friday?
Well, I could do something like 1 to 3, and then if you can't do 1 to 1 o'clock, and if you can't do that, I could do a little after, probably 4 to 6, something like that.
Okay. The 4 to 6 window might be better.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, perfect.
Okay.
4 to 6 sounds good. If I don't think, if I have anything,
who's going to be live chatting with us from 4 to 6?
Ooh, people that are off because it's Christmas. Christmas. People that are like, I'm not spending any time with my family. I'm gonna go chat. Don't bury the lead.
I'm watching a pro wrestling yearly recap with Don't Bury the Lead.
Yeah. Tell your mom.
Because you're getting quality from. Come spend some time with us.
You tell your mother, listen, Mom, I can't make it for Christmas dinner. I'm watching Don't Bury the Lead.
Yeah.
But you have to come. No, okay. I'll watch it on my phone at the dinner table. You tell her that.
It's like, Ma, just bring the meatloaf. Watch it, Don't Bury the Lead. We're ready for the meatloaf. Don't bury the lead is starting.
Well, folks, on that note, I don't think we can top that. Thank you so much for joining. Fun as always. We had a lot of action in the chat. We had a lot of people showing up that were in and out, that were quiet, which we like them people too. Our home base is YouTube. So go check out our YouTube channel. We are at 200 or 945 subscribers. Our goal is 1,000, and that's when we'll hit monetization. So please just click subscribe. Say you don't want to get the notifications, that's fine, but just please subscribe to us. And you can check out our videos on YouTube. And thank you all so much for your time. And Dom, thanks for doing this with me today.
Always.
And have a great rest of your evening.